Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we'll be doing, as you can see from the title, what if Minato survived the Ninetales attack? This what if will change the story in a very dramatic way. So, further ado, down to the one, back at it again. Hope you enjoyed this video and how I try to do this in my own perspective, in my own way. Other than that, roll my intro.
And now, I too have the power of a god.
I got loyalty inside my DNA. I got loyalty inside my DNA. I got killer beats, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA.
Shinra Tensei.
I was born like this, is why I see immaculate conception. I transform like this, perform like this without you a new weapon. I know
So, before we start this story fully and get into the real nit and gritty of what happens, we'll have to discuss and explain to you the various changes that take place that will make the story, this timeline that's different from the original timeline, a little bit different. One will say that Minato, how he will survive to create this different timeline, this different story, is that Minato would have learned the Death Reaper Seal from Kushina. Kushina knew sealing jutsus as well. So in this timeline, Kushina will insist and make sure that Minato won't use the Death Reaper Seal. But instead, Kushina will do what Minato did in the original. Meaning that Kushina would seal half of the Ninetales inside of Naruto, and the other half within Minato. Meaning that Minato, because he had the other half of the Ninetales sealed inside of him, from Kushina doing the Death Reaper seal, making Minato be able to survive in this timeline. And making that Minato has to go on and raise his son Naruto to be the hero that he's going to be, but without Kushina, without the love of his life. So that would be one of the changes that would happen. This small change will create a domino effect of various other things. Like Minato being and continuing being the fourth Hokage after the Naito's attack, rebuilding the village and actually being able to be the Hokage for a long while, the third Hokage not having to come out of retirement. This would change Naruto's upbringing very drastically differently. We'll have a Naruto that actually didn't, doesn't have a bad hygiene. Well, not hygiene like smell, but like he won't be eating ramen and spoiled milk every day, as well as pretty much Naruto will be severed as a hero around the village, because people would know that he has the nine tails sealed within him, because Minato and Kushina, they wanted Naruto to be revered as a hero, but the third Kage, kept this a secret. So in this timeline, people would know that Naruto has it inside of him, but he's revealed as the great fourth son, kind of respected like how we saw Konohamaru being respected. But Naruto sometimes gets pissed off because, similar how Konohamaru was in the original, Naruto always gets treated and observed as just Minato's son. They don't see nothing else. They just see Minato when they look at him. They don't see Naruto as his own person. So Naruto would get pissed when people compared him to his father all the time, because while Naruto wanted to be like him, he wanted to be stronger than him. He wanted to become a ninja and be known in it for his own way, not just being known because who he was the son of. While this Naruto would be way more popular in the academy, similar to how Sasuke was in the original, Naruto would have his own sets of fangirls in this timeline. He would be stronger, not as brass to make all these. He would probably still pull pranks here and there because he would not want the attention from others, but he would want people to see him for him. But the thing is, people, when he would do pranks, wouldn't be so much talking about on how he is a demon or pretty much an outcast or a little brat, as they would say, saying some obviously things about him because he's obviously doing pranks that you shouldn't be doing. But you can kind of get the perspective. If you can't, you just need to pay attention a little bit more. While there would be some people in the village, some people that still despise Naruto a little bit due to them might having some of their family members being killed in the Nine Tails attack, or their own reasons for this. And from their family members being killed in the Nine Tails attack, and they would kind of suffer the repercussions of this and kind of want their kids to stay away from Naruto. So Naruto would get majority people that like him, and you would get the few people that would still kind of hate him and despise him. But these people that hate him and despise him wouldn't be able to fully say this to Naruto's face, because people who would say this, it would be like, what I'm saying, a rule in the village that, I'm saying, to disrespect Naruto, who's the hero of the village, there would be some repercussions. As these people were influenced by no other than Danzo. Danzo in this timeline would be way more, I guess you say, sneaky, because he, in the original timeline, he was able to kind of push over Hiruzen the third Hokage, but with Minato around, he would have to be a little bit more sneaky. Having to, he would get his root Anbu shut down way earlier after Kakashi would have told Minato of what was happening in the root Anbu. And Danzo kind of hating Minato and plotting against Minato. Danzo was plotting to eventually overtake the fourth. And Danzo would start planting seeds by going to people that had got affected by the Nine Tails attack and by their families being killed, and pretty much making them dislike Minato. So you can kind of see there the village is kind of split, with 70% of people liking Naruto in the fourth and 30 not. While Danzo in this timeline, he would work with Orochimaru behind the scenes, as Orochimaru during this time would not be dead, because Minato, when he found out Orochimaru was doing these experiments, Minato, I mean, I could really just make Minato kill him, in my opinion, but pretty much Minato and Orochimaru would get into a highly level fight, and Orochimaru, as we see him do in many fights that he cannot win or something like that, he would try to escape. So Orochimaru would leave the village, and being very injured from this fight, where Orochimaru would go to start his own and doing the things that he started to do in the original, but working a little bit more with Danzo, since Danzo hated the fourth Hokage as well, which these are going to lead to certain events later on. But another thing that we have to cover is that the Uchiha clan. What happens to the Uchiha clan? As you would think, well, the Uchiha massacre is probably still gonna happen. It's not like Minato's Uchiha or nothing, so it's not like he has no reason to keep them alive, especially when he has the rumor of the coup and all that. But you have to think about it. Minato being the fourth Hokage, he wouldn't let the disrespect of how the Uchiha were disrespected because of what happened during the Naito's attack, and people saw the Naito's controlled by a Sharingan. So everybody would be accusing the Uchiha of this. But if you remember, the Uchiha weren't even allowed to fight because Danzo had ordered them that the fourth Hokage told him to stay there when in reality he didn't. So Minato, I would say that pretty much while he has some suspicions of the Uchiha, because when he fought Obito, that he thinks is Madara, what's it called? He knows that this quote unquote Madara is Uchiha, but you know he knows if Madara is really alive, he wouldn't be working with his former Uchiha clan because from everybody knows Madara had left the Uchiha clan because of certain reasons. So Minato would be suspicious of them, but he wouldn't go to the full ledge of even Danzo trying to pull strings, where Minato would warn Danzo, saying that he is not the third Hokage in a council meeting, and saying that pretty much because Danzo was saying that the Uchiha clan should be massacred and killed, but Minato told him if you kill the Uchihas, that he's gonna kill Danzo, and saying that this is Danzo's last time, and this would be around the time when Minato would cut off Danzo's root Anbu to power, meaning that Danzo no longer has power in the council. So that's where Danzo would really despise Minato, and he would say, "Sure, Lord Fourth, you might think you won right now, but there'll be one day when you're not sitting in that seat." And Minato would tell him, "They call me the Yellow Flash for the reason I see everything in my village." As So Lucia would actually survive in this timeline. Meaning we have Shisui, we have Itachi, we have Fugaku, we have Mikoto, Sasuke's mom, and Sasuke with a better childhood in this timeline. Because we also need this to balance it out. Of Naruto growing up with Minato and Jiraiya being there sometimes, since Jiraiya wouldn't be leaving the village for that long, since he has his godson to hang out with and Minato his student and to train Naruto, while we'll have a much more upbringing and happier Kakashi, that we need to balance it out by having the Uchiha survive so that Sasuke can be strong as well. And while this is all nice, this is still going to compel certain things to happen later on. Where the academy system, I would say it would be a little bit harder, where our rookie 9 in this timeline would be a little bit stronger coming out the academy, because Minato would change this, because while they didn't grow up in a war, he wants to prepare them in case a war does happen. Now, another thing that would change is another thing that would be fully changed is that the Hyuga clan. A person who Hyuga clan's father would still be alive in this timeline. And if you don't know who I'm talking about Neji Hyuga. Because Minato being the fourth Hokage around this time, the Cloud would never try anything how they originally did, because, saying the Leaf Village wasn't in the strongest state right after the Nine Tails, the third Hokage to come out of pretty much retirement and be the Hokage. So I feel like with Minato being there, especially Minato and A after their fight, and Minato was able to beat Killer B and A kind of in that small fight, I don't think pretty much this would happen just because of that fight that happened during the Third Gradation War. Meaning that Neji would actually have a father in this timeline, and we'll see him being more humble and being, more strong. While he did kind of wonder while he gets treated differently for being the branch member. He wants to become strong enough so he can change that. And there will be some more changes that we can go over. But other than that, we'll go over a day. As now we can get to our story. As you see, as an alarm clock wakes, as it starts to buzz, making that sound that the select time was chosen for. As you see Naruto stretching out his bed, where then he looks to his left as he sees a picture of Kushina and Minato, Kushina being pregnant, and then another picture with Minato holding the baby Naruto. As he stops the picture, stops the alarm that's right next to the picture, as he gets down, stretches for bed, and that's when he goes where Naruto would kind of wear a similar outfit to Boruto, but instead of the black and pink, it would be black and orange, and kind of resembling his Shippuden type outfit. So that's where, as Naruto, as he walks out saying, I wonder if his father is home. As he walks out down the stairs of the Hokage mansion, he looks to his right where he sees just a note with a lunch, meaning that Minato was gone today again. Showing how while Naruto does have a better upbringing, he's only having one parent and Minato being the Hokage, they don't get to spend that much time together as Naruto would like. And Naruto saying, Hokage work again, huh? As that's where Naruto would sit in the seat eating his food that Minato had left for him and rushing out the door. As you can see, this man slurping up ramen noodles as he gets out the door, as he says, today's the day I'm going to become again. And this is where, as Naruto walks into the academy, you see, as multiple girls would have said, hi, Naruto, Uzumaki. And basically, Naruto would have just kind of waved hi and sit down in his seat in the front, where Shikamaru was next to him, as that's when pretty much Shikamaru would have said, what's up, Naruto? As Naruto would have shaked his hand and saying, I know what you're thinking, Shikamaru. It's a drag of us being here this early, huh? Shikamaru said, yeah, we're practically already ninja, already passed the exam and all that. As Naruto says, yeah, but we gotta find out what teams we're gonna get on. As this is where Kiba and Sasuke would have walked in, as that's when Kiba would be the dead last in this timeline. So people were wondering why Kiba was there, because Kiba in this timeline would have been the one to fail the exam. So that's when they said, Kiba, why are you here? As that's when Kiba would have did what Naruto did in the original, pointing at his headband saying, you see this? You see it? That means I'm supposed to be here, dummy. As that's when a guy would have been like, alright, alright. As Kiba would have got tricked by Mizuki and learned the Shadow Clone Jutsu. But other than that, Sasuke would have been walking in as girls would have greeted Sasuke, but Sasuke wasn't like Naruto. He didn't wave hi to them or entertain them. He just kind of smirked and sat down, kind of behind Naruto. As that's when Naruto says, you're not going to say what's up to me, Sasuke? As Sasuke says, what is it, Naruto? As that's when Naruto says, well, according to today, as Naruto and Sasuke would be great rivals with one another because Minato and Fugaku were somewhat rivals, as well as since Mikoto and Kushina were best friends, Minato would want Naruto and Sasuke to hang out with one another. And this is what led to them being rivals earlier on. And since Sasuke has a better personality from not being PTSD and just traumatized by the Uchiha massacre, they actually are pretty good friends. As that's when Sasuke saying, what, you want to spar? As Naruto says, maybe after this, because I can't let you beat me from last time. As Sasuke says, well, the score is like 32 to 33, right? As that's when Naruto says, yeah, but it's not going to be at the end of today. Sasuke said, whatever. As he would start to adjust the blade on his back, showing that he had a katana. But Aruka would have came in saying, hey, settle down, class, settle down. As pretty much this would be around the time Sakura and Ino were fighting over who's going to sit next to Sasuke or Naruto. As that's when he would have told them to all sit down, saying, well, you guys have came far and finally becoming shinobi, seeing all of their headbands. As that's when he says, but this is just the beginning of what's going to lead to your future. As he would have said, well, I'm going to announce the teams now. As he pulled out a paper saying, Team 10, Ino Yamanaka, Choji Yakamichi, Shikamaru Nara. As that's where basically they would have said Team 8, Shino Aburame, Kiba Inuzuka, Sakura Haruno. And Sakura was like, wait, I'm not on a team with Naruto or Sasuke? Dang it! Because since Naruto and Sasuke were, you know what I'm saying, like the two strongest and the two people that everybody liked in the class. As Ino wasn't either, so they both would have been pissed. And that's when they said Team 7, Naruto Uzumaki, Sasuke Uchiha, and Hinata Hyuga. As Hinata would have kind of got a little nervous when her name was called, as that's when she looked towards Naruto saying, wait, I'm on a team with Naruto? But Hinata kind of revered Naruto from how Naruto would have still originally protected her in this timeline. So Hinata was still like Naruto. And that's when he would say, for Team 7, your joining sensei is Kakashi Hatake. For Team 8, your joining sensei is Kurenai Yuhi. And that's when they would say for Team 10, your joining sensei is Asuma Sarutobi. If you guys were able to withstand my voice and were able to listen all the way through to the end, I actually appreciate y'all. But if y'all stayed all the way to the end and didn't like the like button, then I mean, I don't know what y'all doing then, you know what I'm saying? But if you guys give me some enough support in the comments, and based on the feedback of this video, you'll be getting a part 2. So other than that, hope you guys enjoyed. Other than that, Dante, the one, signing out. Peace.
Wintertime, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag, disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school, winter one hell of a kid, I am. Smoking gas, jugging mid, I'm lit. What you doing, I done did, I swear. Slick talker since a jit, finesse. I know that this what they want, facts. Run up some money.